The following program is produced by students of the Brian Lamb School of Communication at Purdue University.
On this edition of Fast Track, we'll show you a candy shop that's called Lafayette. It's home for over a century.
And later, we have a Fast Track interview special with President Mitch Daniels. These stories and more are coming up on this week's edition of Fast Track. Thank you for tuning into Fast Track. I'm Liz Van Ostenburg.
And I'm Taylor Briscoe. McCord's Candy has been a staple of downtown Lafayette for over 100 years. It's home to the oldest soda fountain and is the oldest candy shop in town.
What you might not know is some of the shop's hidden secrets. Julie Villanova went behind the counter to get the inside scoop.
McCord's Candy Shop, located in downtown Lafayette, has been serving the community since 1912 with their comfort food, great milkshakes, and homemade soda. McCord's Candy Shop is over 100 years old, serving the Lafayette community since October of 1912. They make 40% of their candy, along with homemade sodas and chocolate, in their full-service kitchen located upstairs.
We do make homemade sodas, and we have ever since we opened. I have a lot of people come in and tell me, like, oh, I remember this when I was younger, and stuff like that. It's just homey.
Most of their customers have been coming here since they were kids and enjoying the comfort food that the shop has to offer.
Well, I come here about once a week. I've been coming here for a couple of years. I like it. It's downtown. It's close. You can get in and out real quick. The food is kind of like home-cooked meals.
Upstairs is a hidden gem that most people do not know about. Every Saturday, the shop offers candy cane tours where people can pay $2 and make their own candy canes.
We do make homemade candy canes during Christmas. We sold about 36,000 last year.
The candy canes are a crowd favorite, but the store also makes special milkshakes and sodas, which keeps them busy during lunch hours.
2 cheeseburgers with ketchup and mustard.
Whether you're coming in for lunch or to stock up on goodies, McCord's offers a huge variety of candies, truffles, and bagged chocolates, and multiple different drinks. This downtown landmark has sure kept their old-fashioned atmosphere that it once was 100 years ago. Get your apron on and come on down to McCord's Candies, located in Lafayette. Reporting for Fast Track, I'm Julie Villanova.
As the Purdue admissions office prepares for one of its busiest times of the year, many high school seniors are making those critical final college visits before the selection deadline.
And at Purdue, a certain group of students are responsible for representing the university and offering first impressions to hundreds of those potential high school students. Fast Track's Trevor Peters has a story.
Each year, the Purdue Admissions Office receives around 40,000 applications from students all over the globe. These students not only apply to Purdue, but many come and visit as well.
Welcome to Purdue. All right, thank you. Yep.
The Purdue Admissions Ambassadors are a select group of students recruited to promote and represent Purdue. These student ambassadors help prospective students explore campus, spark or confirm their interest in Purdue, and provide a sneak peek into life as a Boilermaker.
Honestly, I love Purdue, and so as soon as I came on campus, I was blown away with all the opportunities that there were, and being able to tell people about that and be like, I'm a freshman and I already love this school, and then you kind of move on from there. It's a fun job to have.
My main motive for becoming a tour guide was just to sort of share my passion of Purdue to others, as well as get across why I came to Purdue. At least for me, one of the things that really caught my eye at Purdue was the people. I know I came to Purdue over some other schools just because of the culture and the people at Purdue, and I try to tell people on my tours to really see if they can live at Purdue.
While on tour, families learn about Purdue's academic programs, admissions requirements, residence life, and not to mention the personal experiences of their own student ambassador.
So we recruit the superstars, the students who really have a passion for Purdue and love talking and sharing their own personal stories. So that's what those tour guides do, and that's why we call them Purdue ambassadors. It's much more than just giving a tour. They really are a representative of this great university, and they share their personal stories.
A daily tour through the admissions office consists of 3 different parts, including an academic tour, an information session with an admissions counselor, and a student life tour. With the help of 90 student ambassadors, Purdue Admissions is able to give 140 tours and welcome 1,000 guests each week to West Lafayette.
Research shows that 1/3 of students, no matter which college they go to, have that pivotal aha moment when they say, this feels right. And the touch point, those tour guides, those Purdue ambassadors, are the single most important person they're going to meet. They tell us in our visitors' feedback all the time that excitement, that passion, that love for Purdue, hearing what their lives are like and what they can aspire their lives to be like is just hands down the most important thing.
It's different every single time. Sometimes you have a tour group that is already excited about Purdue and all you have to do is tell them why you love it too. And sometimes you get a tour group that's a little bit, I don't know, a little doubtful that maybe they don't want to come here, and it's kind of like, all right, let me tell you why maybe you should think about it, reconsider. And so it's different every single time. The families that you meet are always so amazing. You get different personalities, you get different people interested in different things. So being able to share my experiences and kind of connect with them in a different way for each family is really, really amazing.
As the college search window for many students is dwindling down to its final few months, the Purdue Admissions Office and their ambassadors look forward to welcoming the next class of Boilermakers to Purdue. Reporting for Fast Track, I'm Trevor Peters.
Have you ever wondered how to make a beer? It's a pretty lengthy process, but a restaurant in the Lafayette community called the Lafayette Brewing Company brews their very own beer. However, unlike many beer companies, the Lafayette Brewing Company does not distribute the beer that they make.
But that doesn't stop students and community members from tasting their beer and enjoying the food. Reporter Rachel Bibler sat down with the owner of this brewing company to understand how to make beer.
Many students and community members are wanting to grab a beer to stay warm during the winter season. However, what many might not be aware of is how the beer is made. Thankfully, I was able to sit down with the owner and bartender at the Lafayette Brewing Company, get a closer insight on how this process works.
When we first opened in '93, the options were either to have a brew pub or to go out and try to get tap handles and shelf space and be involved in packaging. And particularly on the packaging end of things, the equipment wasn't really there for the craft brewing industry. And so we weren't comfortable with the packaging side of things, so we decided to open the restaurant, and that's been the business plan ever since.
Typically, the beer process takes about 3 weeks, but some beers take less than that time. Regardless of the type of beer you're looking for, here's a 5-step process on how this beer is created. First off, the malted barley is soaked in hot water to release the malt sugars. The malt sugar solution is boiled with hops for seasoning, and hops adds a bitterness to your beer. So for those that likes bitterness, you'll appreciate hops. From here, the solution is cooled and yeast is added to begin fermentation. The yeast ferments the sugars, releasing CO2 and alcohol. When the main fermentation is complete, the beer is bottled with a little bit of added sugar to provide carbonation. Joe McCord, a current bartender, explains how he learned the process of understanding the brewery when he began his job.
We have, every couple months we do beer training for new employees, and to become a bartender, you have to go through the process of understanding the brewery, because we have a lot of people come in here that homebrew themselves, and they'll ask you questions about it.
Justin Connors, a local community member, says he loves this beer because it's authentic and the atmosphere keeps him coming back.
They're very authentic on how they actually make their beers. They don't add a lot of random stuff like fruits and vegetables and other things like that. They stick to the 4 main ingredients in beer.
Now that we've seen how the beer is made behind the scenes at the Lafayette Brewing Company, let's enjoy beer ourselves. Reporting for Fast Track, Rachel Bibler.
When we come back, we will take a look at the weather by Fast Track's meteorologist, Alita Donnelly.
We will also show you how one classroom on campus is unlike any other. Stay tuned.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It starts with the belief that we can do more. Go beyond our borders, the world, and reach even the moon. We believe that delivering a world-class education and delivering value mean the exact same thing. It's pure gold. After all, where'd you think our colors came from?
Today we saw above average temperatures as our high was 38 degrees, but then over in St. Louis, 53, and over in Columbia, Missouri, 58, and we will see those warm temperatures move into our area, producing some above average temperatures for this time of year. And with that, we will move to locally, and with that, we had a high of 38 here in Lafayette, 37 over in Kokomo, and 38 down in Indy. As I've mentioned, we will see the warmer temperatures move in for the next 24 to 48 hours. Current temperature is 36 here. Currently, it feels like 35 outside. We are seeing a mild gust of about 10 miles an hour for the wind. Low tonight will be 33 degrees. Going back to our current conditions statewide, we are seeing temperatures at 35 in Kokomo, 37 down in Indy, and that will continue through the next few hours as they continue to drop, but we will see them stay fairly stable with 36 at 6, 36 also at 8, little dip around 10 o'clock at 35, and then we will see 36 again around midnight. But for the satellite radar, you can see the cloud cover start to push in, and with that, that will keep our temperature stable, and we will see those clouds stick around through the overnight hours. But for radar right now, we are under a high pressure system, and with that, we will see those temperatures stick, and we will see the clouds stay around as well, but we won't see any rain move in. We could see a chance of some rain forming into Illinois and Iowa, and that could hit us late in the morning on Saturday, but we should have it graze north of us, and with that we will see a little bit of precip if you're north of Purdue, but otherwise you should be pretty clear for the day on Saturday. And we do clear out fairly quickly. We won't see the rest of precip through the rest of the day, but then for Sunday or Saturday night into Sunday, we have more rain forming out with a low pressure system over Iowa and into Illinois, and that will be our big rainmaker for Sunday afternoon into the evening hours. But for today, night's low, 33 in Lafayette, 31 in Kokomo, and 33 down in Indy. But then for Saturday, high of 50 degrees, partly cloudy skies as some of the clouds do break. We will see those southwest winds be about 15 miles an hour. Saturday night, they increase a little bit, but they should stay fairly constant, the winds, as we do see a low of 39 degrees, and cloud covers start to move back in throughout this evening hours on Saturday. Then for Sunday, we will see 51 for the high, 36 for the low, and we will see the rain move in through the afternoon hours, and the winds start to pick up with that as well. For the game, we have cloudy skies prior to tip-off, but then through the duration of the game, we do see the chance of rain move in as well. So when you're leaving the game, make sure you have some rain gear when you go into the game, so you're prepared for that when you do leave the game. But for Monday, we should see only a little bit of rain in the evening and overnight hours. Tuesdays are big rain makers. We have another low pressure system move into our area. So should only see a little bit of spotty showers on Wednesday in the morning, but then we clear out as our temperature does drop from the 50s over the weekend down to 25 by the time we reach next weekend.
Room 124 of Smith Hall may seem like a normal classroom, but it is far from it.
The entomology department has an interactive learning center that is unique from any other on campus. Reporter Taylor Briscoe shows us what lurks in the room that entomology majors know well.
When walking the hallways of the Smith building, a peculiar sign may have caught your eye before, but have you ever dared to step inside? Bug Barn founder and entomology professor Tom Turpin explains his initial ideas for the Bug Barn were quite simple.
If you can introduce people to the arthropods, in this case the tarantulas and the insects, in a safe environment, then they aren't as likely to show extreme behavior when they encounter one out in the wild environment.
This room full of insects and creepy crawlies can not only provide you with an adrenaline rush, but also a learning experience. Education Outreach Coordinator Gwen Pearson has been transitioning into Professor Turpin's position for the past year and says one thing has surprised her the most.
The number one question everybody asks about everything is, will it kill me? Which is really sad. It's just like, no.
Most people feel very at ease after being introduced to these patient creatures by Gwen.
And it's always nice by the end to be able to see that change into, wow, this is really cool, can I take it home?
The Boiler Bug Barn is home to many different species of beetles, ultraviolet scorpions, tarantulas, millipedes, and centipedes. You may find your opinion on these arthropods to change completely.
Isn't it cute?
The Boiler Bug Barn is so interactive, you might even leave with a new friend. Reporting for Fast Track, Taylor Briscoe.
Right in the middle of downtown Lafayette, there is something special that most residents might not know: the largest working pinball selection in the state of Indiana.
After celebrating their 4th year anniversary last week, Liz Van Ostenburg visited to get a closer look at Main Street Amusements, a pinball arcade.
Downtown Lafayette has a variety of different things to offer. One of the hidden gems here is Main Street Amusements, home of the largest selection of pinballs in Indiana. Main Street Amusements, located in the middle of downtown Lafayette's Arts and Market District, is different than normal shops, bars, and restaurants from the area. This is a pinball arcade, turning one man's hobby into a profitable business for the past 4 years.
Well, basically I bought the building with the idea that I would remodel upstairs and live in it, and I thought probably I'd just lease this space out, but the closer it got to this, I realized, you know, I've got a lot of pinball machines. It would be kind of nice to have them all in the same place. And I thought, what the hell, we'll open it up, see if anybody comes. And yeah, we had actually, first day we had a line out the door.
Dan used to fix up old cars, but after that hobby became a little bit too expensive, he switched to pinball machines.
So I enjoy that aspect of it. I like restoring them. I like taking an old one that hasn't worked in 30 years and bringing it back to life.
On a normal Saturday evening, Main Street Amusements can draw a crowd of first-timers who have never seen a pinball arcade to experienced veterans practicing for upcoming tournaments and pinball leagues.
I was walking past on the street and saw it and saw all the arcade games and thought it'd be fun to bring my son here. So
I found a pinball league at the beginning of last year in Northwest Indiana, and then just been doing it ever since.
Although the art of pinball machines has lost their novelty as years go by, apps like PayRange, where guests can use their phone to pay to keep playing, are bringing pinball machines to the present.
Kind of, not ironic, I guess, but funny that an old school place like this has a high-tech phone swiping way of paying for them. But I mean, it's pretty cool.
A pinball machine can range from costing $4,000 to up to $10,000 based on how detailed the machine is. And with new relevant machines like Star Wars, Metallica, and the Walking Dead machines bringing in a crowd, most make their money back in a couple of years.
There's a few that probably rival this, but this is top-notch quality and game-wise.
Open Sunday to Friday from 7 to 11 p.m. and Saturday from 5 to 11 p.m., Main Street Amusements can be your new hot spot to hang out with friends and even join a league to compete. Reporting for Fast Track, I'm Liz Van Ostenburg.
Everyone around campus has seen and heard Purdue's legendary mascot, the Boilermaker Special. The spirit of the railroad on campus can't be overlooked, but sometimes we find that Boilermaker spirit in unexpected places.
Fast Track Spencer Huffmeyer shows us another place on campus that we can find our favorite mascot.
Many students visit the Union on campus every day to grab some Starbucks, hang out with their friends, or grab some lunch. What you probably didn't realize is that the Union is home to much, much more. If by chance you find yourself wandering around in the basement of the Union, look for the railroad tracks painted on the floor, and you might find something unexpected. Tucked away in a corner of the Union basement, you will find a connection to Purdue's rich railroading history. The Purdue Railroad Club, founded in 1935, is one of the oldest organizations at Purdue University.
We model a wide variety, but mostly a modern era of Indiana railroading. This club is designed to give an opportunity to students to show skills in craftsmanship and modeling. It also allows them to run models of their own in a space that they may not have at home.
The 3-room, fully operational HO scale layout is a byproduct of the 3 previous layouts from past years. The current evolving layout, located in B87, is open from 7 to 9 p.m. Wednesdays and Fridays during the school year. Sophomore member Christopher Borgen says the club lets him relive his childhood days, spending time modeling with his dad.
I spend about 4 hours a week here, 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Friday typically. And in those 4 hours, it can involve anything from just doing small maintenance work to the layout, running a train, or adding on to a scene and completing the scene. The other guys, they all have their own specialties. There's people who specialize in electronics, people who are really good at painting and artistic. There's other people who just enjoy running the trains and almost always will have a train or 4 running at the same time. And if you ever have a question about anything they're doing, they will love to answer and help you out and do whatever they can.
If you'd like more information on Purdue Railroad Club, check them out on Facebook. Reporting for Fast Track, this is Spencer Huffmeyer.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It starts with the belief that we can do more. Go beyond our borders, the world, and reach even the moon. We believe that delivering a world-class education and delivering value mean the exact same thing. It's pure gold. After all, where'd you think our colors came from?
Welcome back. This year at Fast Track, we decided to start an interview series with notable people of Purdue and the Lafayette community.
To kick off our new interview series special, Fast Track's Island Sapahi sat down with Purdue President Mitch Daniels to have what we call a State of the University address.
In honor of President Obama's recent State of the Union address, we decided to sit down with our own president of our university to talk about the current states and what's going on. We're going to call this edition the State of the University address. President Daniels, thank you so much for taking the time out of what I'm sure is a very busy schedule to sit down with us.
Island, thank you for coming by. There's not much more important I can do than try to answer your questions and communicate with our students.
And we really appreciate that. We have a lot of topics to go over, so if you don't mind, we're going to start with research. Yeah. This past year, we've made a lot of improvements in our research departments. We've gotten a lot of money from grants alone. We've made a lot of patents. As far as the research money, where exactly is that going? Is there a certain field that we're looking into specifically? Any initiatives that we're starting?
It's a real tribute to our faculty and in many cases our students that Purdue has reached record levels of research even while that's not the national trend. Really every corner of the university has contributed, but not surprisingly our the engineering and science and so-called STEM-based areas are the biggest. Agriculture has been a major, College of Agriculture, which is another high-tech area, very big center of research. And the other distinguishing characteristic, and probably the one that sets Purdue apart most clearly, is that we've had a big increase in the amount of research sponsored not by government, which is those funds have gone sort of flat given the fiscal problems the federal government has. Right. But Purdue's been very successful in building partnerships with corporations and foundations and other sources. And if we're going to keep growing the research portfolio, we're going to need to continue to be a leader in that way.
I see. We seem to have a lot of improvement in the life sciences department as well. Are we looking to go into, make more strides in medicine with that, or where exactly is that going?
Yeah, that's a great and timely question. We have announced the so-called pillars in life sciences as our next big area for investment in research. That was mainly a faculty-led concept, as all our decisions about priorities in research have been. And it was really a recognition that across the campus, and we are somewhat divided in colleges and so forth, we were probably underachieving in terms of our capture of research dollars because we were so compartmentalized. And so bringing people together across departments and picking a couple areas for special emphasis and investment, we think will enable us to really begin to be a star in the life sciences, which we've always been good at, but people maybe haven't thought of that first off when they think of Purdue.
And we're making great strides in that department. I fully agree. You mentioned that we've gotten a lot of money from non-government agencies. I read in the Chronicle of Higher Education that Purdue is going to exercise this idea of allowing students to be sponsored by investments or allowing students to using an income share program. I believe it's called Back a Boiler.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on what that program is?
It's not a new idea. It's been around a long time, but it's only been tried in other countries, specifically in South America, where there are not student loan programs and the kind of college financing that's grown up in the U.S. And it's an interesting alternative. It wouldn't be for everybody, but it might be for some students. And the idea is that instead of going into debt, in essence, it's an equity or an investment instead of debt. And an investor, or maybe it's a group, signs a contract with a student, pays for the education or whatever the student needs to finish college, and then the contract says that for the first X years after school, the student will pay the investor a specified percentage of their income. So it might be 5% of your income for the first 7 years or something.
Oh, okay.
And what's interesting is the student doesn't take on debt, and the risk shifts from the student who's stuck. If you take out a student loan, you're stuck whether life goes great or not so great, depending what decisions you make. In this case, the risk shifts to the investor who's willing to back that boiler, knowing that our graduates do really well in life and that they got a good chance of getting their money back. But if they don't, the problem's not the students, it's the investors.
Is there a certain major that they're looking into? Like are they looking at engineers or like what we talked about, like the STEM majors in that area?
Well, it'll be very interesting. We won't know till we know. And, we won't know whether students some students want to move to this system, maybe pay off their debt and shift to this, I'll call it equity model. And likewise, we won't know which students investors are most interested in. I do think it wouldn't be surprising if there was strong interest in our STEM graduates because the world knows that they tend at least to start out with higher income levels. But I'll only be really interested in this if it becomes accessible to the whole range of our students. And I could imagine a situation in which investors aren't investing just in one student at a time, but in a bundle that has engineers and has philosophy majors blended together.
Okay. When will that program launch? Do you have a certain idea of a time period where students will be able to access that?
The target is to open the window, so to speak, in March, so that students can have a look at it.
Of this year?
Of this year. Oh, wow, okay. To have a look at it and see, and does that fit me? And would I like to participate? And I think it'll be fascinating. It was amazing. I just mentioned this idea while testifying in front of Congress several months ago. I
think they mentioned that in the Chronicle of Education.
Yes, and I wasn't there to testify about this idea specifically, and I wasn't even there to testify about financing higher ed. It was a more general conversation, and I was giving illustrations of the way the federal government gets in the way of innovation, of trying new things in higher ed, and I just threw this in as the third or fourth example. And the minute the hearing was over, the press and everybody else, they came swarming up, and that's what they wanted to talk about. They were intrigued with this idea. I guess I understand why. Yeah. But when I saw that interest, and then we started hearing from people who said, we've been hoping someone would try to launch this alternative.
And who better than Purdue University?
Well, exactly what I thought, Island. You know, we like to be innovative around here. Exactly. So I said, let's go see. And it's like anything else, the market will tell us. It might be very popular, maybe nobody's interested. If not, all we lost was some time and effort. Okay. But if it turns out to work well for a significant number of our students, that'd be great.
Well, I'm excited to see how that program pans out. Speaking of student success, as a senior myself, I'm very happy to say that I am graduating in 4 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. However, for other universities, that doesn't really seem to be the case. I see there's been numbers thrown around the media where people are graduating in 5 years and 6 years. But at Purdue, I think we recently just surpassed the mean of keeping students enrolled in just 4 years in the Big Ten. What's making Purdue so successful in keeping students on track to graduate?
Well, we are making a lot of progress. I've got to say some of it is due to the fact that the caliber of our incoming students has been going up very fast.
We've been enrolling more freshmen, right?
We've been enrolling more freshmen, but the freshmen we've been enrolling, even with the larger numbers, have come in with stronger academic credentials. Okay. More of them also have advanced placement credit, or so-called dual credit, get a little head start. So that's all helping. But it's very important that we keep adding to our toolbox here anything, mentoring, tutoring, anything that will help students move along more swiftly and more successfully. We've still got a good ways to go. But I do think we have a consensus on the campus now. As I say, the old ethic at Purdue, you go talk to, and I have to hundreds of our alums, they all remember that first scary day of class, and somebody saying, look around, you won't all be here, you know, namely saying, get ready, this is tough. Okay, tough is good, right. but I say, we're not here to weed them out, we're here to help them out.
I like that.
And it's just a different approach. We're still proud of the rigor. You study hard. When you get a Purdue degree, the world will know you earned it. We don't wave people through, hey, everybody gets an A.
It carries a very strong name.
Yes, and that's important to keep. But we want to keep that and make certain that students aren't prevented from graduating or graduating on time by the rigor. So that's a tougher assignment. I know how to get graduation rates up high. We could just give everybody a free pass, right? And some schools appear to do that.
But then we lose our integrity.
Yes, and the value that you are paying for in a Purdue degree. So that's not the answer. And the other way we could do it is just only let in the very, very best students. Turn everybody else away. But that's not us. We want to have a large and diverse student body, and I want every student who we can fit in here, who we can accommodate to earn a Purdue degree. So. Fair enough. So we made our assignment a little tougher. That's okay. I think our faculty and our staff are showing that we can maintain those standards and still improve.
Yeah. What else I like about Purdue admissions is that my little sister is in that stage where she's applying for colleges, and what I like about Purdue is that we have a rolling admissions. Yes. So she already found out that she's accepted to Purdue. Yes. And with other colleges, she has to wait until February or March even, and I feel like that's kind of detrimental to enrollment too.
Well, we've made improvements there. I want to commend our enrollment people who heard that. Not many years ago, heard that same concern from a number of students and have moved our decision process forward and turned it put it on that rolling basis. I'm really glad to hear you say that that you see it working, because not too long ago we were told that was perhaps preventing us from getting some of the students we wanted.
I think it definitely does, because now she's already looking into housing, because she's like, I already got accepted there, so let me look at what I like about it. And now she has to wait till other schools, but I think it really pushes students to look into our school a little bit further, since they already know our distribution.
Go down to the enrollment people and tell them, hey, tell them what you just told me, because I hope they know, but they should feel good about the changes they've made.
I will definitely do that. Yeah. Let's move on to athletics. So NBC just announced that they're going to calculate or relook at their contracts for TV. Is this going to affect our division athletics department here?
Well, I haven't heard that specific announcement, but if whatever it said, it is absolutely in keeping with a general trend, which may mean that at least some of the contracts that are out there top out in terms of the revenue. Now, I'm very optimistic about the Big Ten. We have large universities. Our alumni are spread out all over the country in every TV market. LA, New York, anywhere you go, you're going to find Boilermakers, you're going to find Buckeyes, you're going to find, Illini and so forth. And so I think the demand is going to stay pretty strong. to watch our athletes. But no, a lot's going on in the world of television. People less likely maybe to buy these bundles where you buy all the stations, including the ones you don't want to watch. And if that begins to unravel, DirecTV and these other options, it may put some pressure on the revenue that has come. But there's no question that the main revenue in college sports has become media, not selling tickets. And so anything that either raises or reduces that media revenue stream is an important development.
Actually, I feel like the shift of profit is like moving from ticket sales and concession stands over to the media. So at Fast Track, we were wondering if this new contract is going to help us get more money, or is it going to be a little bit more cost effective for us?
Well, you're absolutely right that not that many years ago, any athletic department basically was relying on tickets and parking and concessions, things about the events themselves. And that has shifted, so it's much more balanced now. And as I wrote about in my recent open letter, it does appear there's a very good chance that the Big Ten will get an increase by renewing its national contracts.
Okay.
And I hope that's the case. It would enable us to invest more in our athletes, not have to start taxing, so to speak, the 98% of students who are not on a team.
Oh, true. I was surprised to see how many student athletes we actually had. I thought it was more than 2%.
It is surprising, isn't it? It's fewer than 600 out of 30,000. So, you know, God bless them. They work so hard, and we're so proud of them. But it is, to me, it's a little bit too bad that that's all we have. Makes me a big supporter of a stronger intramural program, you know, and we're going to be investing in that too. But on your question, and as I said in the letter, if there is a significant further increase, we're going to invest a good bit of it, probably maybe most of it, in athletics. But I think it becomes an open question whether some of that can't help the university graduate more students on time, keep tuition down, all these things that are also important.
Well, it sounds a lot like Purdue is really innovating. We're bringing new ideas in, we're really trying new things out. With that being said, I really admire your decision to bring the Chicago principals to our campus. And I thought it was really enlightening. Can you elaborate a little bit on what your inspiration was for bringing those ideas to Purdue?
Thank you for noticing. I do think it was a great thing. And by the way, let's remember it was student-led in large part. Yeah, sure, I was thinking about it, but both the undergraduate and graduate student governments came forward and said they would like to see Purdue modernize and strengthen its policy about free speech and protecting everyone's right to it. So there have been a lot of highly publicized incidents that around the country that I think were very, very unfortunate, in which people's free speech rights were trampled, frankly. And happily, that sort of thing has not happened at Purdue. But I noticed that up at the University of Chicago, they had produced this statement, and I read it, and I thought, we can't do any better than that. It's very clear, plain spoken. We could have spent a long time trying to do our own, and I don't think it would have been any better.
Right. We're the first public institution to adopt those, right?
We are. And I think this movement will grow. I personally think it's a good idea to have people subscribe to the same document. It adds power each time another school does, as opposed to having 100 that try to say the same thing in different words.
Right.
But so that's why responding to the student urging, we went to the board and said, why don't we just embrace this statement, which is a very good one put together by a great team of scholars at the University of Chicago. And we did, and Princeton has, and several other schools have, and I hope it becomes a broad trend. But it was, I was pleased, and I know a lot of our faculty and students and alums have checked in and said they were pleased that Purdue took a lead.
Yeah, I think so too. You mentioned about unfortunate incidences happening on other campuses, and as we saw last semester, those seem to have cascaded down into our very own backyard here at Purdue. What was the administration's reaction to that, or have we made any steps to perhaps addressing the issues? They were very delicate issues about race and culture.
Sure, and anything, you know, that a couple hundred students get together and bring it to our attention, we're going to pay close attention, especially this subject. So I hope we've been, so far, properly responsive. I met with the group, the Chief Diversity Officer, who is also our provost here. We've elevated it to the top level.
Wow.
Of the academic side of Purdue, has met with them, and that'll happen some more. There were, of the list of things that they said they would like to see, there's at least a majority that we agree about and we're working on. We're working on recruiting more faculty from underrepresented minorities. We're working so hard on trying to recruit more students. We've more than doubled the amount of money we're spending in scholarships for minority students, for instance, just in the 3 years I've been here. And we have record numbers in both categories, but you know, no one's satisfied. So we're working on all those things. There was a suggestion of a campus safety advisory group to communicate with the campus police, campus fire, so we set that up, good idea. And we'll always listen to an idea in this or any area, and where we agree, we'll go to work. Where we don't, we'll explain why and, you know, look for a better option.
Well, I'm excited to see that. One last question. When I told people that I was going to interview you, I had a lot of questions being thrown at me. The number one question was, we're very happy to have you as our president, but you have a very impressive resume. You were governor of Indiana, now you're the president of Purdue. Do you personally have any other career goals that you have in mind?
I don't.
This is it?
I love it here. I'm at a stage of life and where I'm sure I'm not going to, unless health or something forced me to, I'm not going to, you know, stop being active. But as you may know, the trustees asked me during this year to extend my commitment. 2 more years, takes us past our 150th birthday, takes us past our capital fund drive, which of course I'm spending a lot of time on.
And isn't it the 50th year of Neil Armstrong's walk on the moon?
It is, interestingly. It should be a wonderful year at Purdue. So I was happy to do that. So, nope, I've never been a career planner anyway.
Really?
Yeah, I always have to confess this, and students, you know, want to know, and I have to say, hey, ask the next person, because I've just I've enjoyed doing different things, but I didn't foresee this happening. Only right before I did I ever think of running for public office. I hadn't foreseen the long stretch I had in business. So
you just had a big role in the political circle. Now you're a big role in the educational circle. We were just wondering if there was another circle that you kind of wanted to attack.
No, you know, every so often the phone has rung. I thought,
I'm sure you've had a lot of opportunities come your way.
Yesterday, you know, somebody checked in from a different university, and I said, just no, tell them I'm too happy here, thanks. You know, it was on my mind during last year. If someone had asked me right up until December of the year 2000, so I was working in business. I was working at Eli Lilly and Company, been there a long time.
Business, you were in that circle
very
too.
Fulfilled, yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
If someone had said, what are you going to be doing? What will you be doing in January of 2016? I would have said, well, let's see. Oh, I'll be getting ready to retire from Eli Lilly and Company. And my life changed 3 times after that. So I tell that now and then to students to say, hey, have a plan. Know what you're passionate about, but one reason you're here at Purdue is because you got to be ready for anything. People are going to notice your talent, and your phone's going to ring.
I hope so. I'm graduating soon, so that phone better be ringing soon.
What I mean is, through your life, it's going to ring, probably more often than mine did, and you want to be flexible enough, and I hope courageous enough, you know, to say, okay, I'll try that. Because there will be things come along that are impossible for anybody to predict at your point in life.
Well, I really appreciate that. Yeah. That's all the time we have for today. Yeah. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
That's all we have for this week's edition of Fast Track. I'm Liz Van Ostenberg.
And I'm Taylor Briscoe. Join us again next week as we take you through more stories on Purdue's campus. Have a great weekend.